On Saturday, November 2nd, starting at noon, Kevin Williams is helping sick kids by playing video games. He needs your help to raise $1,000 for the CHIO Foundation. Donate at extra-life.org/participants/347875.
Hey guys, I'm Jen. I'm a gamer, a photographer, and a longtime wrestling fan. Wrestling, especially women's wrestling, has truly evolved over time, and it's bigger than ever. I'm here to give my take on the world of wrestling, be it women, men, or whatever else is on my mind. Because if women in wrestling are being heard more, shouldn't women in wrestling podcasts be too? Welcome to Women Crush Wrestling! What's up, everybody? It's me, Just Jenny, here with my boy Adam.
What's up, everybody?
No, that's my thing.
Oh, shoot.
Get your own!
Back off, get your own sandwich.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
No.
You don't... You just quoted it with me, and you were just so... This is all a lie to you? Like, you just agree with things to get the things going?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to actually search this.
This is what happens when you work in retail. You just agree to get them the far away from you as possible.
I like how you censored yourself. That's great.
I did.
Back off, get your own sandwich. This was a Subway thing. Okay, so it was for Subway. Back off, get your own sandwich.
Oh, it was like a defense...
Yeah. Like
okay, yes, I remember. Yeah.
I hope that some of the ladies in the Money in the Bank match use that as a defense. Back off, get your own briefcase.
See, I just like to think of it as, I don't know you, that's my purse.
Oh, classic from King of the Hill.
Right.
Love it. You know that has a wrestling connection to it?
Does it?
Yeah, Randy Savage is on one of the episodes. He plays a bodybuilder who starts working out in Bill's gym in his garage.
Nice.
It's a great episode.
All of them are great episodes.
Yeah, but definitely not as good as that one. That's my purse. I don't know you.
Yeah.
You know what I do know, though? I know that the one stop for all of our fans is WrestleMedia.ca. Do you know why?
Why?
Because that's where they can go to get all the latest stuff that we've got going on, including our videos, our blogs. We got a new one out from our good friend Aaron Rakowski. He did a whole write-up on the AEW TV deal, which is a great read. He's a fantastic writer. I've been trying to get him to do stuff with us for literally years. So now he's part of the team, and I'm happy to have him there. We want you to check that article out, but we also want you to go check out all our videos. A lot of people don't know that we're on YouTube now. If you like to watch or listen to your podcast on YouTube, we're on there now. So anytime that you're hearing us, the public versions of our podcasts are going to be out there on our YouTube channel. Best way to link through that? Go right to WrestleMedia.ca. There's a link right there. Do you like my little click there?
Yep.
That's my thing.
Yep. See, if I was kind of dozing out, I would be like, oh.
Well, we know that most of our audience will be dozing out by this point in. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Most of the time.
Wake up, everybody. Wake up.
My mind just wanders. It happens.
You're right.
We're humans.
We are, aren't we?
I hope so. Actually, I wouldn't care if non-humans listen to our podcast.
I would be kind of honored.
I would be like, let's talk. What are you?
So, you're a cat. What's going on? Of course, that's where I would have. I would love to be the #1 cat podcast in the world.
The cat would just knock over the mic. Exactly.
That's what it would be.
Don't you do it.
And if you like that kind of silliness, well, WrestleMedia.ca is the best place for you to go because all that silliness is ×7. Yeah, that's right. A new podcast every single day of the week. Now, if you want a little bit more, the best thing to do is head over to patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. See, like you're listening to the free version, maybe? If you are, well, guess what? All you gotta do is put a few ducats in the bucket and you'll get more, including a little bit more from our special guest today, which I'm going to get to in just a minute. But you're also going to get exclusive podcasts and other free, other cool stuff. It's not free, but other cool stuff that you won't find anywhere else, just like our newsletter, although that is free at WrestleMedia.ca. Click on that button there that says newsletter, sign up for it, and then you can get some exclusive content and contests, including your chance to win 2 floor seats. I'm all over the place today. 2 floor seats to the Chinlock Wrestling event June 15th. And hey, speaking of events that we are going to be at, let's talk about our latest segment. We're on the road, Jen. On the road again. You a Willie Nelson fan?
No, I am not.
I figured as much. Willie Nelson never went emo. Although that would be pretty funny.
He did have really nice long hair.
He did, yeah.
I respect that.
He's kind of like country music's goth kid.
Yeah. That was Johnny Cash.
Oh, sorry. You know what? You're absolutely right about that. He's a man in black.
Really quick with that.
You're right. You were right on top of that one.
Yep.
So this Sunday, if you're listening to us on Patreon, we are a day removed from the Aurelia Comic-Con, a.k.a. the Cottage Country Comic-Con, which is happening Sunday, May the 19th, in the Muskoka area. Aurelia over at the Mariposa Best Western Conference Center. Greg the Hammer Valentine's going to be there. I'm real excited to meet him, and we're going to be there hanging out with the folks from Northland Wrestling. They're going to bring a little bit of their crew, including their general manager, Adam Andrews, and Dan Jarris, the owner and one of its top stars. Dan's going to be talking about his I Quit match coming up May the 25th with Tomer Shalom. The company is on the line. You're definitely not going to want to miss that one. And if you want to win yourself a family pack of 4 tickets, that's where I got confused before.
Oh, okay.
We are giving away 4 tickets to the Northland's Feel the Bang event on May the 25th. We want you to feel the bang, so come on out. Well, just be careful. The Mariposa Conference Center there, and enter. Our raffle is completely free. All you got to do is sign up for our newsletter, which is so cool and easy and free and fun and fresh. We're going to be also in Renfrew, June the 29th, for the Queen Street Entertainment live pro wrestling event featuring the likes of Addie Starr, Shane Saber, Cecil Nix, and, of course, some others as well. It's going to be a great event. And we mentioned Chinlock earlier, June 15th, Kingston, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Huge event. It's going to be awesome. Legends Convention. Let's try this again. Jen, name some of the legends.
Oh,
you excited?
Man.
There's not even any on the list here, so we'll go back and forth. How's
Well,
that?
I'm sorry, Mark Henry.
Mark Henry, Bret the Hitman Hart,
Billy Gunn.
Swoggle.
Oh, that was mine.
That was yours? You say that.
Swoggle.
Jimmy Hart.
No, that was mine!
Oh, sorry. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson.
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Corders, Tugboat. He liked my and sent like a funny sticker because I shared his video. It was a big thrill for me.
Oh, that's good.
I was a Tugboat fan growing up, so that was kind of cool.
There you go.
Can't wait to meet that guy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, of course, all the House of Hardcore talent. I can't believe all the talent that's been announced so far. Tommy Dreamer's going to be there as well in one of the main event matches with Billy Gunn and Spenny from Kenny and Spenny in their corner against Tyson Dukes and Tarek. Of course, the big match that you and I are most excited about is the first thing I want to talk about today. What an announcement from Chinlock Wrestling. We knew that the Chinlock heavyweight title was going to be on the line. So we knew Jesse Mack would be defending it after beating back the challenge of the Immaculate Ray St. Jean back in April. So she has put the title up on the line in a fatal 4-way match. And what a lineup. First of all, Addie Starr. Now, we've talked about Addie Starr. She was at the last Chinlock event in Napanee. Queen of the death matches in this area.
My fiance.
Your fiance.
She doesn't know me, but she's my fiance.
Nothing creepy about that.
That's how I'm going to introduce myself.
The queen of the building blocks, because Lego apparently gets a little testy about you using their licensing as a weapon in a wrestling match.
I can see.
Right, yes.
I can see.
So, man, you want to talk about a tough competitor. She's right up there. Beautiful Bia, who was also at the last Chinlock event and is the current Northland Wrestling Northern Lights champion. She's the women's champion there in Northland Wrestling. Has been all over the province, is quite a rising star. And speaking of stars, whoo boy, the last entrant, Madison Rayne, Impact Wrestling's Madison Rayne.
Right.
She took on Jesse Mack one-on-one at the last Chinlock event in December. I was there for a hell of a match. And our special guest today, woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
I didn't know where you're going with that. That's why I was like, oh, whoa, react.
Yeah, Madison Rayne's going to be on the program a little bit later. I'm totally pumped for that. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to talk a little bit about her choice to leave Ring of Honor and come to Impact Wrestling. We're going to talk about Chinlock, of course, and a whole lot more. Now, if you want the full interview, you're going to have to go over and put a few ducats in the bucket over at WrestleMedia's Patreon page, patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. But you'll still get a little bit of taste, if you will, coming up. So, man, what an incredible match. A 4-way contest for the Chinlock title, man. Jan and his team are not going to make it easy for Jesse on the 15th of June. But you know what? I don't think she'd have it any other way. So good for her. All right, let's go on and talk about some news and reviews, some stuff that we saw, some stuff that we've got thoughts on. Let's talk about the tag team name for Asuka and Kairi Sane. The Kabuki Warriors is what they've named them. So this story has kind of grown and developed since it first started. Let's just kind of break it down bit by bit. You wanted to talk about this, so go ahead.
Oh, I just thought, because they didn't have a name for so long, right? So you're kind of like, oh, like, what's their name going to be? And then this is what it's introduced as. And then a lot of people are giving it backlash.
I was one of those people.
Yeah.
I was against it completely because when I thought of it, I thought, oh, my God, It's generic. It's just, well, what's something Japanese that people will recognize? Kabuki. Let's just throw it out there.
Do you know what kabuki means?
I know it's a form of theater. Now, apparently there's a couple of different definitions. Now, I didn't know that. And I will fully admit to my ignorance here on the show. My only experience with it was actual kabuki theater, the Great Kabuki from the Florida Championship Wrestling territories back in the day, and Kabuki Man, Sergeant Kabuki Man P.I., which was a series of trauma films, which are terror wonderful. If you get a chance, check out Sergeant Kabuki Man. It's fantastic bad.
Oh, there you go.
So here's the thing. This is the way I felt about it, was that I didn't necessarily have a problem with, like, if they had called Asuka the Kabuki Warrior, I'd be cool with it. Because she comes out in Kabuki robes. She wears Kabuki masks. She's Kabuki. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But it felt so out of place when you add Kairi Sane. She's a pirate. What do pirates have to do with Kabuki theater?
But you got to think of it this way. Io Shirai was called, like, they were the flying pirates.
Sky pirates.
Sky pirates. But
Yeah.
Io Shirai is not a pirate.
She's not, but she was the sky half of that, right? Because she was the genius of the sky. That was her nickname. And Kairi Sane was the pirate. So
Well,
Sky
then
Pirates.
Why,
I'm cool with that.
Why couldn't Kairi be the warrior
Because
part?
she's not the warrior. If it was the Kabuki Pirates,
Pirates,
I'm cool
man,
with
though.
that.
They went to war.
You know what? You're right, but I would have, like, if it was like Kabuki Booty.
No, they could not do Kabuki Booty. You Google that right now and guarantee that's going to be some kind of website.
Kabuki Booty. Come on. The t-shirts are going to sell themselves.
Oh, I'm sure. There's some sick people out there right now. Just
You're telling me right now you wouldn't wear a Kabuki Booty shirt?
I would only do it if it was Asuka's booty.
Well, that's pretty impressive, I will admit.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know, like, but I meant like booty as in treasure.
Yeah, I know.
Because pirates are looking for treasure. Maybe it's a treasure chest opened up and it's Asuka's booty.
Shining.
Glistening.
No. This is getting worse.
I'm sorry. So, okay, so maybe that idea is not a great one.
No.
But I didn't think Kabuki Warriors was great either.
I liked it because Kabuki means it's like a drama dance. It's like an interpretive dance.
Sure.
And I think in the symbols that it spells, it means like art, drama, and dance or something like that. So like a lot of it I feel is like what they do in the ring.
Sure.
It's kind of like a dance. You got to perform and interact with your person.
Okay.
So like I kind of see where that would be.
My problem with it was that it felt like they were just like, okay, they're Japanese,
They could have called them the Kawaii girls.
The what?
The Kawaii girls.
What's that? What's that mean?
Cute.
Yes,
But that's the generic. Like that's like anybody out there who other watches anime or reads manga, like they know like these certain words because like that's what they use all the time. And like,
but it fits though. They are both very cute girls.
I know,
though.
but I wouldn't take them seriously.
Well, until
they would be like the
until
ditzy
Asuka
girls.
chops you in the face.
But that's why she can't. They need to have warriors in that title.
Basically, yes. I was not impressed with the name. You
No.
clearly didn't care for it, or you cared a little less about it. You thought it was okay.
And it kind of helped knowing they picked it.
Well, now this is where the new news developed in, because I didn't know this, but Paige responded to it saying, hey guys, just so you know, this was a name that Kairi and Asuka picked. Or, if you're going to put on your tinfoil hat, I'm sure that you could say like, oh, they were told to say that they picked it kind of thing. And I mean, look, there's always a certain element of like, it's Vince McMahon's final call. It's creative's final decision, right? Mm-hmm. But it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility that they were like, hey, we thought of a name. How about we call ourselves this? And they must have liked it, if that indeed is the true story. And I shouldn't say I have a hard time believing. I want to say the opposite of that. I don't have a hard time believing that may be the case after Asuka's post. Because she went online and she went on this big thing about like, so people are familiar with the word kabuki as theater, right here.
Yeah.
Hand up. I'm guilty of that. Yes.
Yeah.
And she said, but it also means Stranger Things, or like she wanted to call the team a different kind of word, which meant Stranger Things, which I was all in favor of because, first of all, you could do some fun stuff with that ties into the TV series, but also they are a strange duo. Mm-hmm. Add Paige in there. That's our strange trio right there. Yeah. I think that totally would have worked for them as a team. But essentially, she was saying that kabuki has more than one meaning, but essentially it comes from a a subword or root that basically means strange or eccentric or different.
And you know why? Is because Kabuki performers were men in robes and those masks.
Right. As a
little strange.
Theater was traditionally like that too, though. Shakespeare's same thing, right?
Yeah.
But this kind of makes sense because there's a long-running rumor or joke, I guess. I don't know if it was a rumor or whatever, but on Bruce Pritchard's podcast, he always talks about how Dusty Rhodes, who was the booker in Florida, whenever something was strange, he would call it Kabuki-ish. So, there you go.
Yeah.
So, seeing Asuka write that on social media, I softened my tone a little bit more on it.
That's right.
I don't feel bad about coming to the defense and saying like, hey, this is, you got to be a bit more sensitive to this stuff. But I'm fully willing to admit when I was wrong on it too, and I was totally wrong. It's fine if that's the name that those girls want to go by. It's cool. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish they'd kept the original idea, which was Kabuki Girls, which apparently was a tribute to the Crush Gals back in the day, which would have been awesome too. But
Vince probably didn't like it.
Probably not.
And he wanted like warriors.
Warriors, yeah.
Or Triple H was like, no, you gotta like push and like don't just say it because you're a girl. Like show them you're a warrior or something.
Well, Jeff had commented in our chat room saying he thought the original title was probably a Kabuki Experience, that it didn't quite happen that way.
We used to have a Kabuki house.
That's right. Well, we still do, kind of.
Kind of, but it's hidden in a weird grocery store.
Say that about the locals.
Oh, I'm sorry. They just offer weird food.
It's not weird. You know what? You're the problem. Just so you know.
I never go downtown unless I'm getting my hair cut at my friend's salon.
Okay. Which is what?
Which is in custom deluxe tattoos. It's in the back.
There you go. And I'm going to plug Rogue Alchemy because that's where I get my hair cut.
Oh, there you go. That's also where I get some of my tattoos done, though. So
I think we need to have a battle of...
I'm sorry. I can get a haircut and a tattoo where I go.
I get a haircut and a massage. Also very good.
If I asked Ashley, she probably would.
That's fair. Listen, what we're trying to say is there's a lot of great things to see and do in downtown North Bay. We're expecting our check in the mail there, Mayor Al, anytime now.
Right.
Let's talk about video games because that's awesome.
Video games. So this is just a leak document. So I wouldn't really say this is 100% yet.
I will just say it's in the rumor mill. It's something that interested us, so we want to talk about it.
So apparently for 2K20 will feature Becky Lynch as the new cover star.
Woot woot. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do that last year.
I thought they were going to do Ronda.
Yeah.
At some point, and they didn't.
I thought it would have been great if they had those three, Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte.
Oh, it was AJ Styles last year.
It was AJ Styles, which, it's not a bad choice.
No.
But it kind of shocked me. It's like, you're kind of, riding this wave of female evolution on your programming. Why wouldn't you feature those stars?
And I'm sorry, Ronda Rousey as your spokeswoman for a fighting game?
Yeah, kind of writes itself, doesn't it?
Right? Come on.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch is a good pick, too. I really like this.
Well, I mean, she's the biggest women's wrestling star in the world right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really couldn't get a better choice, especially since she's a merchandise mover. People buy her merch.
Exactly.
So slap her on a video game title and let's see how many fly off the shelves. You know what I'm saying?
And apparently in this game, it's rumored that you can play as Chyna.
Which is pretty cool.
It's been 19 years since you could play her.
Yeah, actually, I remember when I first got WWF Attitude, where you could play Chyna. I can't remember if you had to unlock her or if she was already a playable character.
I feel like you would have to work for her.
Yeah. But it was kind of cool to have Chyna in the game.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm getting that right. Maybe I'm not getting it right, but I thought you could play as her in WWF Attitude.
I have no idea. I'm not sure. I've only ever played No Mercy and then newer games.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the oldest game I played was No Mercy.
Well, she was definitely in that. I remember that.
I know.
And I'm going to see here. 'Cause I know that she was a manager. Yeah, you could play as Chyna in that. Okay, so yeah, back in the day.
Internet doesn't lie, people.
Well, there were videos.
I could edit that.
You're right, you could. But, okay, so I'll tell you what. If there's somebody out there who is doing this to deceive me, shame on you. I'm trying to be pure over here.
Trying to be,
but it's hard.
No. So apparently Becky Lynch would be the first woman ever to fully cover. What year was it? 2007. Tori Wilson was kind of in the corner alongside Was it John Cena? Yeah.
A bunch of other superstars.
Yeah. So, but this is going to be the first time that a female would ever be by herself, just on the cover.
Which is a pretty cool idea, honestly. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that game. Also, fun little related fact. Do you know who Ukes are? They're the game developers who have been working on the WWE 2K games. They recently put a thing out where they talked about how they're going to make a new wrestling game, and it's not WWE related. They said that they want to try some different things, and they want to work outside their parameters, and they don't feel that they're getting... They're still going to make the 2K sports games, but apparently they're going to, but we're also going to do this other wrestling thing.
Do they do the NBA? The 2K? Okay. All right.
So,
Eat it, EA.
So there's a lot of people right now who are saying, okay, so it's got to be AEW, right? Because they're the next kind of like the big upcoming thing, and they have talked about, game stuff. But I don't think that's what it is. I think it's something else.
All female?
I'm thinking yes, and I'll tell you why. Netflix is going to be at E3 this year.
You know what? I'm not excited for E3 at all this year.
Well, I'll tell you, if this theory is right, I will be excited. Because my theory, my hypothesis, is that E3 they're going to be at E3. Netflix is going to announce that they're the ones partnering with Ukes, and they're going to make a Glow game.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the TV series. And if that's the case, just take my money. Like, I am in. I'm in for that. I mean, I have to buy a PlayStation 4 now anyway, because WWE stopped showing the network on PlayStation 3, so I have to buy a new game system now. So, thanks a lot, Vince McMahon. Oh, you have two? Oh, you jerk.
I have a Spider-Man edition, and then we have one for our bedroom. That was our old one.
Wow, look at you, moneybags.
Right.
You're not getting any of the money from patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.
That's fine.
Yeah, all right then. Good. Gonna go, and I'm gonna go, you know what? I'm gonna make my money the old-fashioned way. You know how? I'm gonna sell bootleg Kabuki booty shirts out of the back of my trunk of my car.
You give me like 10 of those shirts, and I'll bring it to SummerSlam, and I will see. No, I'll just wear one, and I want to see how many people go.
Like, where'd you get that shirt?
Where'd you get that shirt?
Don't tempt me, because I will do it.
If you do it, I will wear a shirt. I'm there for 3 events. If you get me a shirt for those 3 events, different one, I'll wear it. And I'll tell you.
You have to wear it to any event where those two are wrestling.
Okay. So that will SummerSlam, unless they're SummerSlam, because
they
they're not on
better be
Raw.
at SummerSlam. They better be there.
They better be there. But what if I do a meet, because they're meet and greet, right? We do a meet and greet.
If you do a meet and greet with them wearing the shirt, like, I don't even care.
What if Asuka just hates it?
If she absolutely hates it, you can give her my phone number, and she can call and tell me about it.
I'll just take my shirt off. I am so sorry, Asuka. It's gone.
She's like, how did this get less weird?
Where's your bra? It's summertime. Boob sweat.
She'd probably be like, respect.
These ladies would know.
Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today. All right, Jen, I think it's about time for us to head to our special guest.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about this.
Oh, you're excited.
It's an honor. We had a wonderful chance to talk with Madison Rayne, Impact Wrestling star, former Knockouts champion. We talk about a lot of different stuff, and it's all good. So stick around and check it out. I am very honored to be on the line here with one of the top female competitors in the world of professional wrestling today. She's going to be at Chinlock Wrestling on June the 15th for the House of Hardcore Chinlock Wrestling 5 event. And of course, you can catch her every Friday night on Impact Wrestling. It's Madison Rayne. Madison, thank you so much for being on WrestleMedia and Women Crush Wrestling.
My goodness, thank you for that intro.
Well, certainly you deserve it. I mean, my goodness, literally, I feel like we could do this entire episode if I just sat down here and just listed all the credentials you've achieved over your career. I think that would probably just fill up the entire time because you've had so freaking many of them. So,
well, and you know what? Shockingly, I'm still processing it almost a year later. Like 2018 for me was off the charts. I did more, I think, in 2018 than I did in my first 5 years of wrestling. So, yeah, a lot to talk about for sure.
Pardon the pun, but you made quite the impact last year. Literally, you did. And we are going to get into that. But first, I actually want to go back to the beginning. I want to talk about Madison Rayne before she was Madison Rayne. Were you a fan of wrestling growing up?
Yes, I was. Big fan from the time that I was, I don't know, I think 8 is kind of the number that I land on. I am the only girl and the baby in my family. I have 2 older brothers, and so when I was little, I always had to find ways, or wanted to find ways, rather, to hang out with them and be included, and part of that was playing sports and working out, which would help me later in life. And then another thing that I always liked to do with them and my dad was sit down and watch wrestling on Monday nights. So that's what initially brought me into the world of wrestling. And then from that point on, I just fell in love. And, the more that I saw these characters that were larger than life, that I was just enamored by. I loved it, and then I started to see women wrestle, and then from that point on, it was all over for me, and that's what I wanted to do with my life. It took I took a little bit of a left-hand turn at some point, like in high school. I wanted to be in pageants, which also then would come full circle at one point in my wrestling career.
No kidding.
But yeah, from a very young age, I remember telling people that I was going to do 2 things in life. I was going to be a pro wrestler, and I was going to marry a Hanson brother. So of my 2 dreams, I'm glad that I got the one that I did.
I don't know. I think if you put a long blonde wig on your husband, he could pull off a Hanson cousin, maybe, or a distant relative.
You know what?
Think.
I think so too. I think so too. He's very pretty, and if he had long hair, he could totally be a Taylor Hanson doppelganger.
So you got close. You got really, real close to the dream, which is pretty awesome.
He's so mad at me when I tell him that.
Hey, it's all love, of course.
Right.
Now, you mentioned about the pageant queen stuff. You were homecoming queen in high school. You were a varsity cheerleader in high school. You were a pretty good student. You were studying radiology, I think, in college. I mean, you were the all-American girl. You really were. And I mean, was it weird when people were like, "Oh, you like wrestling"? Was it kind of a thing that you tried to hide, or were you just very out and proud about "Nah, man, I'm a Monday night fan"?
It was a little bit of both. Honestly, when I was all of those accolades, yes, came later, in high school. I was actually kind of a nerd, and I feel like this is the first time I'm ever really talking about this in an interview. When I was in junior high, though, I was hadn't quite grown into myself. I had this red hair that I wanted so badly to get rid of, and now here I am with it, a version of it again. But I have these big teeth, which again took some time to grow into, and in junior high I hadn't quite grown into them yet. I didn't know much about makeup, and I would wear wrestling t-shirts to school. So some kids thought that was super cool, but a lot of other kids thought that wasn't cool and wondered why I was doing that, because I did always, even when I was younger, I dabbled in pageantry a little bit, never anything extreme like the toddlers and tiaras type pageants, but just local stuff. And I was a cheerleader from I think 6th or 7th grade on, and played softball, and so all of those things I did, and that was considered cool. But then I would sit in the back of the classroom with the boys and talk about what happened on the pay-per-view Sunday night on Monday morning. So when I first realized oh, hey, this isn't cool, and my girlfriends don't want to come over and watch the pay-per-view, I shied away from it a bit. And then I think I was a sophomore or junior when I finally realized I really don't care what people say. And I wish that more kids were like that now, and even younger than that. But I learned very, very young, relatively speaking, that I didn't really care what people thought. So for the people who kind of poked fun at me for loving wrestling once I got a little bit older. I was like, okay, well, watch this. In 10 years, I'm going to be on a stage in a ring somewhere, and you're going to be asking for my autograph.
And, of course, now they are, which is kind of amazing.
Right.
So how did you make the leap then from fan to competitor? Like, what finally was the catalyst, if you will, for, all right, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to do this?
And you know what? It was almost like it happened by accident. Because I think most people kind of go in and out of, like, they have phases where they really love wrestling and then they kind of find something else. And I was, right after I graduated high school, kind of in one of those phases where, I was going to a community college, and that was kind of my primary focus. And I was actually training for a fitness competition because I was super athletic in high school. And then the community college I went to, it didn't offer really any athletics. So I was training for a fitness competition. I was in the gym, my local gym, 5 or 6 days a week. And one night I walked in and there was a flyer for a wrestling show in my small town in Ohio. And I kind of looked at it. I was like, that's weird. I'm going. So I showed up to that show. I found the gentleman who was the promoter of the show, and I said, what do I need to do here? Like, this is what I want to do. And it was 2 days later, I showed up to a school. I don't think that he really thought I was going to show up. And I was like, okay, now what? Here I am. And I was the only girl that he had fully trained. There was one other girl who was a girlfriend of one of the wrestlers who would come and just roll around a little bit because there were no other girls. And so once I came in, she and I kind of started training together. And to this day, she is one of my nearest and dearest friends. She hasn't wrestled in quite a long time, but it was her and I for like the first year of my wrestling career. And it was a lot of fun. And I just, from the first day that I stepped into that gym, I never looked back.
Did you ever feel like a weird separation between the guys and the girls in the locker room or at the school? Or did you always feel like they included you and you were all kind of bonded by this, hey, we're all wrestlers?
I've never felt like an outcast in a locker room. And I think, early on I was taught, proper etiquette, locker room etiquette. And, I had been athletic. I had been in sports in locker rooms and I know how to carry myself. But when I first started wrestling, I was, had my first match and I was 19, but I was 18 when I started training. And again, I was one of the only girls, story of my life. And it was, these people were training in my hometown. So some of them I actually knew, or, I had a friend of a friend who was their friend. And so everybody, and they were all older, so they kind of like treated me like their little sister, and that was a role that I had played my entire life. So I was well taken care of. I would never, until I got a couple years into wrestling, I didn't, go on road trips by myself or anything. I always traveled with a group of guys who were just guys, and they just like took care of me and made sure that, I was taken care of at shows and that I had my own locker room and, maybe I was babied a little bit, but, I was very well taken care of. I've never had a bad experience in a locker room. So I guess I'm really fortunate that way.
And they certainly didn't baby you in the ring because intergender wrestling was kind of a part of your early career. In fact, at some point in time early on, you got to wrestle Shark Boy, which is kind of cool if you ask me. How did you feel about intergender wrestling back then? And do you feel differently about it today?
I don't think I'm mistaken here. Maybe I am. That match with Shark Boy it was like a scramble or a gauntlet match, and there were a bunch of us. And that was, I think I can count on one hand how many times I've actually done like intergender wrestling, and it was never to the degree that men and women do it now. I would have kind of my spots, but it was never. I would take moves here and there, but it wasn't as intense as it is now. And back then I just, again, because these people were the people that I trained with and, aside from Shark Boy, but he always took very good care of me and in locker rooms and, cause he's from Ohio too. So I saw him a lot when I was coming up through the indies.
Sure.
But those matches were few and far between. And I've said this before, and I mean zero disrespect when I say it. Intergender wrestling it's not something for me. I'm not super interested in doing it. And maybe, it's because I'm in these later years of my career, and that's not what I've built my career around. I'm also a mom, so things are a little bit different for me. I look at wrestling through a bit of a different lens. But that's not to say at all that I'm not a fan of it. I think that, Tessa Blanchard is a perfect example. Any match that she has with a man or a woman is tremendous. But I've seen some really incredible matches. Her and Brian Cage have torn it up before. And so I wouldn't say that I don't enjoy the art of it and watching it. It's just not, it's not something for me. Yes, I've done it, obviously. But it's not, it's not something that I've really become famous for doing. And I would prefer, just for me personally, to keep it that way. But that's not to say, again, that I'm not a fan of it or that I have any issue with it. It's just my personal preference.
One person who doesn't have an issue with it is your opponent, or one of your opponents, on June 15th, Jessie Mack. No qualms about defending her Chinlock Wrestling Heavyweight Championship against men or women. Most recently, she turned back the challenge of the Immaculate Ray St. Jean, and this past December, she had her hands quite full with you at Chinlock 4. Tell us a little bit about your Chinlock experience over the holiday season.
Yeah, I loved that show. I loved that the energy that those fans brought. I loved being in the ring with Jessie. I wasn't super familiar with her, to be quite honest. But I was so blown away and so impressed by her, and especially when she told me that she had only been wrestling, I believe she said a couple of years. I was so impressed by her. I'm so excited to see her again and see how much growth she's done over these last several months. I think she's got a great look. I think she's got a lot of personality. And I hope that if she's not yet, that she'll be on big league radars soon.
I'm sure there's no question about it that is in her future. And in your future, in just 4 weeks' time, you get another shot at Jessie Mack and the Chinlock Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. But this time, you've got not only Jessie Mack to contend with, but also Beautiful Bia and Addie Starr. It's a fatal four-way match for the belt. How do you feel about multi-person matches? Do you like competing in them, or are you more of a one-on-one kind of girl?
Well, you're telling me things that I don't know. This is the first that I'm hearing.
Exclusive news, breaking news here on WrestleMedia and Women Crush Wrestling.
Yeah, so thank you for the heads up. Now I can start to kind of do my homework. Multi-person matches are, they're more difficult. There are more moving pieces. It's a lot easier for them to go off the rails. But they can also be phenomenal. I say that thinking the first match that comes to mind is the four-way that I was part of at All In last year. And that was a perfect example of when the stars align and everything that we wanted to see happened. It was like... to have a standing ovation from 11,000 plus fans tells me that we did something right. So hopefully I can bring even just a piece of that excitement into my upcoming match on June 15th.
All right, Jen, there you have it, a small taste of what we've got in store for our patrons over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. Of course, our patrons who are listening to this right now, you've just heard the full thing, so good on you, made the smart financial decision.
Exactly.
And I think that's about going to do it for us this week, unless there's anything else that you wanted to chat about.
No, I'm good.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if that's all, then I think we ought to just take it home.
All right, well, I've been Just Jenny. And that's my boy Adam. I've been what? What? I'm gonna leave.
Please come back. Oh, God. I don't know what to do by myself now.
Hey, you crushed it!
We crushed it. Oh my God, you're back!
Back with disappointment.
Oh. Did you ever leave with disappointment?
Yeah, all the time.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything.
Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.
When I first learned about All In, before I was even extended the invitation, I texted both of them right away and I said, I want to do this. I don't know what you guys have planned, but figure me into it, please and thank you. And you know what? They didn't have to. There were so many people who wanted to be a part of that show because they knew it was going to be something really special. And to have been given an opportunity, not just to be part of that show, but to be in a match with Britt Baker and Chelsea Green and Tessa Blanchard, who are three of the most talented women that I've ever been in a ring with. I was, by many, many years, the veteran in that match, but I felt like, we were all on the same level.
Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.